If there is anything you take from this video, I hope it is this. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Yasmin.
And I'm Nadia.
If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button below and the bell so you're notified every time we upload a new video on how to transform your life from stressed and unfulfilled to joyful and balanced. Yasmin and I spent 6-7 years in and out of burnout whilst we were doing our law degrees, building our law careers and buying and renovating our houses. We tried every tool and trick we could to recover from burnout, and now we've been burnout free for over 6 years. We're going to share with you exactly what works so you can recover from burnout for good and create a new balanced lifestyle. The first thing we did is inner work. After years into burnout, when we stopped to reflect, it was clear we were stuck in a cycle. We were in this constant loop of excessive work, all-nighters, constant studying fueled by caffeine and sweet treats, followed by a crash deep into burnout when we had a moment to stop. This pattern happened several times a year, becoming really hard to ignore. Noticing this pattern led us to observe patterns in other areas, in ourselves, others, and the world around us, leading us to deep inner work and asking the most transformative question there is, which is why? We kept asking why. Why do I work like this? Why do I keep pushing myself? Why do I want these things I'm working for? You eventually get to the root cause of what has actually caused your burnout. This is where we discovered the root cause of our burnout, which was a feeling of unworthiness and a need to prove ourselves because we adopted incorrect beliefs in our traumatizing childhoods. Through the inner work, we realized where our lack of self-belief and confidence, inner critical thoughts, self-defeating behaviors, and feelings of lack all came from. We learned that most adult behavior stems from beliefs formed in childhood. So to transform, we must bring awareness to those core beliefs and see them for the illusions that most of them are. There are few things that can transform your life so rapidly than this shadow work. This is why we are so passionate about this work. Without it, we probably never would have overcome our hustle burnout cycle and would have inevitably reached burnout again. But instead, for the past 5+ years, we have been burnout free, healed our self-worth, and created a life of fulfillment and balance. If you are interested in going deeper with this work, this is exactly what we do. You can book a free call below, or you can check out our free masterclass, which will take you through a step-by-step guide on how to do the shadow work so you can transform yourself out of burnout. The second thing we did is shifted our mindsets, managed our inner critics, and developed self-compassion. We grew up with many restrictive mindsets, particularly when it came to our all or nothing black and white thinking. We believed at working at extremes, sprinting instead of pacing ourselves, and it was all in or nothing at all. There was no middle ground, no in between, and in our minds we're either working and achieving or failing. We grew up constantly repeating phrases like, I'm all in. If I'm not going to give it everything I have, then there's no point even trying. There was absolutely no room for balance or taking our foot off the pedal. When we started new projects, we didn't ease our way in and slowly work our way up. It was all in 100% from the get-go. It is not difficult to see now how this would have led to burnout. However, with this, unfortunately, came a lot of self-criticism and allowing our inner critics to dominate. The problem with this mindset was that we were always setting ourselves up to fail because our standards were so extreme and there was no allowance for failing or falling short. So when we didn't live up to them, we would be so disappointed in ourselves and fall into self-criticism, feeling like we were failures and not good enough, not seeing that these failures had nothing to do with who we were, just how we did things. This inevitably left us feeling constantly depleted, paralyzed by our own decisions, and affirmed our negative self-beliefs, causing us to get burnt out quicker and more often. Luckily, we learned the error of our ways and eventually introduced balance and set ourselves up to win instead of fail all the time. We recognized our extreme habits and the way we were treating ourselves so harshly and started to have more self-compassion and treat ourselves in a way where we would build a relationship with ourselves rather than destroy it. As time passed, we became our own supporters and encouragers, treating ourselves in a way that makes it almost impossible to burn out again. We now know that more is achieved with balanced behavior than in short intervals of extreme behavior. The next thing we did is question society's beliefs. The shadow work we did uncovered incorrect beliefs that we adopted in our childhood, but also the incorrect beliefs adopted and influenced by society and our culture. We looked around and saw and spoke to many others who were being influenced by limiting beliefs from their childhood and from society. The most obvious burnout-inducing mindset that we adopted from society was hustle culture. This mentality of you can sleep when you're dead to avoid adequately resting your body, the all-nighter culture, putting money on a pedestal and making it more important than anything else in your life, was a toxic mentality that we fell into and needed to shift. Instead of mindlessly following what society told us to do, we started to tune into our intuition and do what felt right for us. We asked ourselves whether this path is what we want or what society has told us we should want. Then two voices clearly appeared. Our own voice, guided by our own values, and the voice of conditioning, which is guided by beliefs adopted by society and others. We chose to start following our own authentic voice in the actions that we took, which led us to where we are today, which is clear in our direction, burnout free, and excited for where we are and where we are going. The next thing we did is align our life to our values. It took us too long to realize that the way we were living our lives were completely conflicting with our values. We were so out of alignment that our physical and mental health were constantly deteriorating until we were forced to wake up and make a change. We would sit behind a desk all day and night consuming unhealthy snacks while we worked and studied, even though we valued health, fitness, and movement. We worked in companies that meant nothing significant to us except a salary, even though we valued living a life of meaning. We were in environments where we felt completely alone and disconnected from everyone, even though we value connection and community. If there is anything you take from the video, I hope it is this. You cannot be thriving and live a fulfilled and enjoyable life if you are out of alignment with your values. Only once we truly identified our own values and changed our lives to align to them, while creating a new aligned vision for ourselves, did our health and well-being improve. If we do not live an authentic and aligned life, our body and mind will do everything it can to wake us up, whether that's through ill health, mental health issues, or constant burnout. The next thing we did is we made well-being our focus. Through many years of researching burnout recovery, we discovered maintaining a high standard of physical well-being is closely linked to staying out of and recovering from burnout. We vastly expanded our knowledge, learning that dehydration and skipping meals increases the stress hormone cortisol, how meditation, a healthy diet, and exercise can make the body more resilient and less prone to burnout, the importance of sleep in balancing and repairing the body and nervous system, how the thoughts we think either strengthen or weaken the body. We learned how multifaceted burnout recovery is, and to live a burnout-free life, it's important to have a holistic approach that doesn't just look at the strategical steps, but your overall spiritual, emotional, physical well-being. We discovered the strong link between mind and body, making meditation and yoga a significant part of our lives. We now meditate daily, exercise regularly, and have a mostly balanced diet the majority of the time to remain burnout-free. We also had to learn the importance of joy and rest. Resting and relaxing never used to be a part of our routine. We didn't schedule it in, we didn't make room for it when we had spare time, and we certainly never prioritized it. Any spare minute was crammed with work and productivity, particularly when we were working and studying, and when we slowed down, became still, or tried to rest, we were flooded with feelings of discomfort and guilt. We had a similar approach to fun and joy. Hobbies were not possible, going out was never an option, and even when we were invited to birthdays and occasions, our immediate response would be no because work would take priority. We deprived ourselves of any fun because we thought it was a distraction, so we made it the enemy. But with no rest and joy, and work, studying, and productivity filling all our time, we caused our own burnout over and over again. This was one of the biggest causes of our burnout, and changing this was one of the biggest parts of our recovery. We learned that a happier, more joyful and rested version of ourselves would always outperform a depleted, unhappy version of ourselves. So we started to introduce rest and joy and make it a part of our everyday lives. We've personally learned that after about 5 to 6 weeks of working, we need a significantly longer period of rest and to ramp up our joy. This might look different for you depending on the intensity and amount of work you have, but this is an absolute game changer, and joy and rest are key ingredients to preventing burnout. The next skill we had to learn was letting go. There is so much resistance, yet so much power and transformation that comes from freeing yourself from beliefs, environments, and people that are toxic and keeping you stuck. Our journeys have been a constant state of letting go. We let go of work environments that promoted hustle culture and deprived us of the opportunity to create balance in our lives. We let go of people that reinforced our old beliefs that we were not enough and worthy of being treated well. We let go of trauma and trapped emotions from our past. It was challenging to leave unaligned jobs and long friendships, but we decided that peace, growth, and happiness was a priority. Over time, we distanced ourselves from toxic places and let them go. Our unfulfilling legal careers were one of the most challenging things to let go of. We realized that even though we were successful in this career, it was leaving us drained, depleted, and was unaligned from our values of creativity, joy, and wellness. We had to face other people's judgments, including our family, for going against what society would generally deem as normal. But we discovered firsthand that living inauthentically and out of alignment to your values can cause significant health consequences. Now we easily recognize environments that deplete our energy, and we choose to put ourselves in uplifting environments. We chose to work in companies that support our health and well-being instead of toxic work patterns. And now we work in a company which is flexible and allows us the time to also work on our passions and have the rest and joy that we need. Finally, we dealt with our limiting beliefs about time. Acting without urgency, slowing down, and being generally more at ease has been one of the most challenging lessons I've personally had to learn. Before recovering from burnout, we would constantly rush, do everything frantically, and be very rigid and structured about our to-dos and timelines. I remember feeling late even when we didn't have an appointment. I would literally say to Nads when we arrived at the gym, "We're late," even though there was no deadline. We believed that time was limited and we were always rushing against the clock, saying things like, "There's just so much to do, there's not enough time, I just can't get this all done." Unfortunately, endless to-dos are endless, which means there's never a point where you finish everything you need to do and can finally rest and relax. This meant that we stayed in a hyper-alert state, trying to complete our to-dos that would never be completed. This constant state of rushing and panic dysregulated our nervous system, keeping us in fight and flight and preventing us from recovering from burnout. Only once we realized that our to-dos would never end and that there would always be a need or something to rush for, did we start to slow down and become more flexible. We finally learned to enjoy the process of everything we do and live with more ease and gentleness, which massively increases our well-being, quality of life while preventing burnout. That's it for today, guys. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.